Everybody, what is up? It is Villian. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, if you've never seen me without makeup before, this is what I look like currently. Yes, I've just got my contacts in and I'm here to get into some drama. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'm not going to stop doing drama videos. I might be doing them a bit less, but there is drama that I want to talk about, that I want to cover, so I'm here to talk about it with you guys. Me and baby Bramley, we're back to talk about some of the drama. Girl, we need to talk about it. There is a lot going on with one particular creator. Of course, every drama or commentary channel, I feel like at the moment, is talking about Deaf Noodles. Now, I wasn't really going to make a video on this, but I saw some things that Peter Monn said, and I thought, actually, yeah, I do want to weigh in on this. I do want to make a video on it. So let's get into it. Peter Monn was talking about how Ethan Klein doesn't stick up for Deaf Noodles. You know, very true, all very true, all of that is true. Ethan Klein, in this whole thing that Deaf Noodles has been going through recently, which if you don't know what Deaf Noodles has been going through recently, if you watch some of my recent videos or another drama channel's recent videos, you can very easily get caught up on what's going on with Deaf Noodles, with his comedy club, his roast battle room, or whatever it is he wants to call it. You guys can get caught up with that, but what is going on with Deaf Noodles? Peter Monn spoke out about how Ethan Klein hasn't been there at all during this time to defend Deaf Noodles, which is very true, because Ethan hasn't said a word. He hasn't said a word about how Deaf Noodles is getting roasted, other than to come out and say the people who are roasting Deaf Noodles are bullies and, you know, we should leave him alone, basically. That was one thing that Dan and Ethan brought up on the H3 podcast. They just both said, oh, you know, it's just nerdy little bullies. That was what they called us. Nerdy little bullies who haven't got anything better to do, need to get off the internet, whatever. Rowdy. It went on like that. But it was just that one time that they mentioned anything about Deaf Noodles. And, you know, Ethan has had Deaf Noodles on his silly little awards, you know, that he hosts the Streamies on the H3 podcast, Steamy Awards. Ethan's Mickey Take version of the Streamies. He's had Deaf Noodles on there as a co-host. So I think Deaf Noodles thought there was some kind of friendship or some kind of business relationship between himself and Ethan. I really don't think that that is the case.
He's so quick to defend, you know, Ethan Klein and H3 and all that kind of stuff. Where was Ethan Klein last night? Where has Ethan Klein been in the downfall of Deaf Noodles?
So I want to talk about this whole Deaf Noodles situation, and the reason that I want to talk about it is because I did watch some of his comedy roast that happened on Tuesday. I didn't watch all of it because honestly it was boring and I couldn't physically sit through all of it, but I did watch some of it, and I want to talk about it because also Peter Monn brought up a point about one of Deaf Noodles' comedians going on stage and saying the F-word slur for gay men. Now, I'm part of the LGBTQ plus community, so I think this is an interesting conversation. It is something that I want to talk about, so I'm going to weigh in on it too. But here's what Peter Monn had to say about that.
Now, I'm not going to say her name. She can stay anonymous for all this. The comedian so-and-so who made the joke. Okay, so this is what happened. Somebody tweeted out, I mean, you organized a show you planned on streaming online. You could have reminded people not to use slurs. If Tate gets banned on Facebook and IG, and now TikTok permanently, for violating their rules, Twitch can suspend you for violating the rules. Maybe stop blaming others for your actions, okay? Well, he retweets this and he says, the comedian, so-and-so, who made the joke that got me banned is gay. If gay comedians get punished for making jokes about themselves, then it's clearly a targeted attempt to silence them. I think the broader conversation should be about how LGBT comedians are being silenced. And that might be true. I actually follow a lot of LGBT comedians that have gotten their start since TikTok and things like that. that don't find the need to fall back on using derogatory slurs. And I'm not really sure what's funny about that. I definitely don't think it's funny just to yell it off of a stage. I don't find it funny, and I'm not sure if you know this, Dennis, because I don't think that you identify as part of the LGBT community, so I'm not really sure why you're trying to educate the LGBT community on being part of the LGBT community. It's really not your place, okay? But just so you know, there is homophobia that exists within the LGBT community, all right? And I'm not down with anybody in the LGBT community yelling that slur at me, whether it's on a stage, in a Twitch stream, or where else. I don't think that's cute. Now, there are a lot of people that believe that that's taking that term back and they're having power over it, and that's their business, okay? But don't be yelling that from me from a stage. And furthermore, to me, this is really not so much about her as it is that he didn't set appropriate boundaries for his own show, number one. And number two, he is trying to educate the LGBT community on what is okay and what is not okay about, and wanting to have a broader conversation about this. Who are you wanting to have a broader conversation with this about? Because I don't think you're the person to be initiating this conversation. I really don't.
Yes, I know I look a mess right now. I'm just using my weirdo palette. I look a bit like Julia Fox at the moment. I actually did it myself. Yeah. You know, I really look like that at the moment, right? But I'm not going to look like that. I'm actually trying to do a look that Lipstick Nick did that she posted on her IG stories yesterday. It's the look from one of her makeup classes. So I really wanted to have a go at this look because I don't have money for the Lipstick Nick makeup class as much as I would love to. But I really just want to attempt this look and see if I can do it with all the stones and everything. It looks gorgeous. So I'm going to try and throw myself into this. And on what Peter said, right, let's get into it. So what Peter said in that clip there, I do think everything that he said about Deaf Noodles is extremely valid. I really do. But there's another side to it as well. So as well as like, yes, there is homophobia and transphobia and all of that within the queer community, that very much still exists. As well as that point, then you've also got a Deaf Noodles point about why are people being censored. Again, that's another kind of valid perspective if you ask me. It really is, you know. Because if you take something like drag, okay, LGBTQ people standing on stage, wearing a wig, telling inappropriate jokes. Take something like that. If you're going to tell Deaf Noodles, who I don't know if he's gay or not, or how he identifies, if you're going to tell Deaf Noodles that he can't tell inappropriate jokes, but you're going to let somebody like Bianca Del Rio do jokes like this.
She thinks she's cute tonight because she has her hair pressed. It looks very... Clap for her hair. It looks so much better. Come and show everybody. It looks so much better than the last time you were here. Come up here, bitch. This is very important. This is not a wig or a weave. White people, I'm educating you. This is real ethnic hair. Not that it's bad. If you get close, you can smell the curry. The thing is... Yeah, people that fuck her in the ass go, am I in a cab? Listen! She charges less. No, listen, I gotta say, her hair looks really nice because there's no humidity. You better own it. Flip it like a white bitch. Flip it. Flip it.
Now go sit down.
All right, you can have a seat.
Then I'm like, okay. You know, Bianca is, of course, part of the LGBTQ plus community. And, you know, it's her job. It is what she does. She is a stand-up comedian who writes her own material, you know. But what I find really interesting is how are we going to try and say it's okay for gay people to do this kind of humor that's really inappropriate, that's racist, you know, or misogynistic. But then when straight people or people outside of the LGBTQ plus community do it and they're not wearing a wig and makeup, oh, it's not okay. This is the only thing that I'm not understanding. Now, I'm not supporting Deaf Noodles in any way here because I really don't like the guy that much. You know, I'm not supporting him at all. But I do think it's funny how we kind of critique and sort of cancel people for inappropriate humour, but then it's okay for somebody else, like Bianca Del Rio, to do the same thing. You get what I'm saying? Bianca Del Rio has said the F slur herself many times on stage. I was lucky enough to go and see Bianca at a small, venue when she was fresh off Drag Race, and really fresh off Drag Race. I mean, like the series 6 had just pretty much finished, and she was over here doing a tour in the UK of kind of small venues. So I went to see Bianca Del Rio in a small venue, and Bianca, yeah, of course, she's telling racist jokes, she's dropping F-bombs. I mean, is it the case that it's different for somebody like Bianca Del Rio and she's given a pass for using humor that's saying the F word because she's part of our community, she's wearing a wig on stage, she's doing drag? Is she given a pass because it's drag rather than just stand-up comedy alone? Because it's stand-up comedy within a drag show, in front of an audience who've paid to be there. Like, don't get me wrong, I am absolutely in no way complaining about Bianca Del Rio. I'm a huge fan. I've paid my own money several times to go and see Bianca Del Rio. Like I say, the first time I saw her over here was at a small, tiny venue where she was performing because she'd just come off Drag Race and she was like promoting, doing the tour, and ever since then, I've seen her at bigger arenas and everything like that. And of course, Bianca is someone who's had a 20-odd year career in the industry. So somebody like Bianca telling inappropriate jokes as part of a stand-up comedy routine in drag, it is different, I guess, to somebody like Deaf Noodles, who's somebody who makes videos on YouTube for, a few thousand people, where he's, complaining about influencers or telling kind of political jokes that aren't even jokes. The fact that Deaf Noodles thinks he's a roast comic, an insult comic. No, learn from somebody like Bianca Del Rio. That is a roast comic. That is an insult comic. Learn from someone like that. Deaf Noodles, the way that he tells jokes, the way that he tells things, just plain and simple isn't funny. But I will willingly pay money to go and see Bianca Del Rio do a stand-up show like that. So it isn't the case that us people, all of us who are criticising Deaf Noodles don't understand comedy, or we're snowflakes or whatever. That is really not the case. Sorry, I'm getting carried away and not even doing my makeup now. But that's not the case, because Deaf Noodles seems to think it's about, let's educate everybody because you just don't understand humour. No, I understand dark humour, Deaf Noodles. I understand dark humour very well. I pay money. I pay £50 or whatever, £60, £70 to go and watch a Bianca Del Rio show because I know she's going to insult people. I know she's going to roast people, and it's going to be fucking hilarious. I wouldn't pay 60, 70, whatever to go and see Deaf Noodles. I just wouldn't. He's not funny. He's just really not funny. Sorry. So following on from the comedy roast where that slur was said, Deaf Noodles has been banned from his Twitch account, which I think it's your own fault. As Peter said in the clip, he knew that he was going to be streaming that on Twitch. He knew. So he could have made the choice to tell everybody who was performing at this roast, oh guys, we're going to be streaming this live on Twitch, so we've got to be mindful of the guidelines and the rules. And he didn't, clearly. He just got himself banned on Twitch for a shit comedy show. Okay, and now he's complaining. He's saying people, involved in some kind of smear campaign, some kind of hate campaign, some kind of take down Deaf Noodles campaign. And that's really not the case. Deaf Noodles has destroyed his own career here. He's done it to himself. Nobody did it to him. He was the one who made the decision to build this little comedy shed, call it a comedy club, and put on this show and stream it on Twitch. Deaf Noodles has done it to himself. I'm not feeling sorry for him. I'm just really not. Sorry, Def, but no sympathy from me. Okay, so that is one finished eye on this side. I've just put a bit of foundation and concealer on. I'm going to grab some blush and stick that on while I'm waiting for my lash to dry. And then I'm going to go in and do all the stones on the other side here. It is kind of time consuming, but I really like it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this cream to powder Jacqueline Cosmetics blush stick on. A little bit of that there. So I'll finish this side of my face first and then go and do the other side. Where is my little blush brush? It's up here somewhere. There we go. But yeah, the whole Deaf Noodles thing is really crazy to me. It does seem like he's ending his own career. But then, as I said as well, you know, you've got drag queens out here making all these, you know, jokes and everything. But it's different in the case of someone like Bianca Del Rio, who, as I said, I think it's different because someone like Bianca Del Rio, a drag queen known for stand-up comedy, has worked on the scene for 20 years, 20 plus years, doing cabaret, doing comedy, stand-up. Deaf Noodles hasn't done that. You know, he's done a few comedy shows and tried to get work as an actor or whatever, and that didn't work out for him. So he went on YouTube and then started his YouTube channel talking about like music videos and stuff. That is completely different to somebody like Bianca Del Rio working on their craft for 20 plus years, then touring the world. You know, it's completely a different situation. But, you know, Bianca Del Rio has had people try and kind of, you know, the cancel mob come after her for some of her jokes because they were too far and too inappropriate for some of the woke crowd. But, you know, now it's happening to Deaf Noodles. But Deaf Noodles, to me, he just isn't a comedian. You know, as much as I would like to say, oh yeah, I'm not up for censoring comedy and all of that, you know, I like dark humor. I like those jokes, you know. I think there's a time and a place for dark humor. And I just think that what Deaf Noodles has tried to do, where he's had this whole, you know, YouTube channel that's talking about influencers and stuff, it doesn't really lead into what he wants to go into, you know, insult comedy and things. I mean, it could, if he had gone about his YouTube channel differently, if he had done his whole YouTube channel in a stand-up style, but he didn't. He did that cat Minecraft character, which to me wasn't even that much of a character. Let me know all of your guys' thoughts on this, but he did that character. It wasn't even that much of a character, in my opinion, you know, and then he decided that he wasn't going to do that character anymore. So then he was just being himself, Dennis. And it's like, you know, you can't really, you know, if you're trying to be a stand-up comedian, your jokes have got to be funny. And if you're just going on a YouTube channel being yourself, making content about people like James Charles and Tana Mojo, which he's still doing, then that's a different career to stand-up comedy. That's being a drama channel. You know, if you're doing videos about Tana Mojo, James Charles, you know, the Ace family, which is all stuff that Deaf Noodles does, then that's being a drama channel. It's not the same as being an insult comic or a stand-up comedian. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to say take care, stay safe, stay well, and I will see you guys soon on the next one. I'm going to go finish my face, and I will probably be back with another video for you later on today. Take care. Bye.